Welcome back to France 24 and live from Paris. Joined in the studio now with James, by James Creedon for Media Watch.
Evening, Luke. How are
evening.
you?
So we're talking about the Media Watch and what's going on in France at the moment, and it's Carla Bruni who's making the headlines. She gave a bit of a scoop interview.
Yeah, we're learning all about her love life with Nicolas Sarkozy. I mean, she is pregnant with his child, so I suppose, no surprises there. But in any case, she did tell the BBC, this was an interview she gave actually with Christine O'Krent, who we know very well at France 24, and she told Christine O'Krent, when I met him being the president of France, walking around the gardens in the Palais of the Palace of the Élysée, he kept giving me all of these flowers' names. He knows all the names in Latin, all these details about tulips and roses. I said to myself, my God, I must marry this man. He's the president and he knows everything about flowers as well. This is incredible. So a little insight into the exact moment when Carla Bruni fell in love with Nicolas Sarkozy. Apparently it was all about flowers, which are, I suppose, always romantic, aren't they? And especially in Latin.
That sounds very romantic for a head of state. I'm rather surprised. Perhaps the French reputation precedes him.
Exactly. And here you can see the interview actually on the BBC. We'll give them credit where credit is due. And Twitter, people are talking about it on Twitter as well. Nicolas Sarkozy has clearly failed to realise his vocation as a gardener, they're saying. And the headlines were all joking about that. Nicolas Le Jardinier. And that's actually a TV character in France, a very well-known gardening presenter who was known as Nicolas Le Jardinier. So it was, there were a couple of jokes on Twitter and on various news websites following that interview, as you would expect.
So that was a romantic meeting, of course. Not necessarily quite the case between another major French political figure. This is, of course, Dominique Strauss-Kahn. We've spoken so much about him in recent weeks and months. His French accuser, Tristan Banon, they're set to meet in front of the police later this week. Some members of the public are showing their support for her.
That's right. Now, this is on the website of Paris Match. They are set to meet, one would presume, for the first time since that fateful day in 2003 when she says he tried to rape her. Now, in any case, they're going to meet in the 8th arrondissement. There's a police investigation underway. Basically, what the police are going to do is bring the two sides of the story together and to see how they contrast, to see how each party's version of his story or her story contrasts with past versions given. So it's just basically a way for the police to bring the two parties together. So they will be sitting across from each other. So yes, the media's talking about that. And on Saturday, this past weekend, there was a rally on Place du Châtelet in the centre of Paris, people showing their support for Tristan Banon. So there you go. That story continues to evolve. And as Paris Match said, this will be a crucial episode in the media soap opera of the year.
So a lot riding on that confrontation. We'll keep you posted here at France 24 about that. Moving now to a job perhaps that we know a bit too much about. That is a TV newscaster, yes. But perhaps something neither you nor I would dare to do.
That's right. This is a guy called Christophe Ondelat. Now, he presented the lunchtime news on the state broadcaster, the France 2 channel. He had a lot of serious shows, a serious journalist. Now he's released an album, much to the titillation and amusement of the whole country. And in any case, he appeared on this show, you can see it on this internet page here, on the TV show On n'est pas couché. And he got such a ribbing from fellow journalists, such as Audrey Pulvar, who you can see here on the left, that he actually walked off the set, which of course led to even more giggling and more titillation. And he's clearly very nervous and very embarrassed by all of this. So you can see, let's have a little listen to a clip from his song Doctor House.
Qui a dit, on peut bien lui couper la jambe. Elle a déjà un pied dans la tombe. Dr. House, Dr. House. Dr. House, c'est pas Mickey Mouse. Dr. House, Dr. House, Dr. House, c'est pas Mickey Mouse.
And so I think a lot of people are just think that's hilarious. But actually, past newsreaders in French history, let's have a look at this guy, Philippe Rissoli. We can see his webpage here online. Now, he did more kind of light stuff. He wasn't actually a newscaster, he was a TV presenter. But the title of his song was Cuitas les bananas. Bananas have been cooked. And he just kind of cuitas is actually Spanish, so that's an even lamer song title. I would venture.
Possibly they should have stayed with karaoke then. I think we've got time for one more story, and you're going to tell me about a rather bizarre contract
All right.
killing in Brazil.
I'll try to do this very quickly. Basically, this came out last week, and the French media have picked up on it now. This guy was hired as a hitman, but he fell in love with the woman he was meant to pop off. He dressed her up, and you can see it here on the pages of the Daily Mail, with ketchup and a knife that was put down in between her arm and her body. The photos were sent to the woman who ordered the hit. She, a couple of days later, saw the hitman with the woman walking down the street, and they had actually apparently fallen in love. And anyway, the whole thing descended into complete and utter farce. And now all three of them are on front of the courts, I believe, for extortion charges and all of that. So a pretty crazy story, and that happened in Brazil.
James Creedon, thank you for all of those romantic stories, or whatever you can call them. Thanks very much for French Media Watch. You're watching France 24 live from Paris. Coming up next, Web News.